Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Game From Scratch. We have a mega bundle for Unity developers. Although even if you're not using Unity, a lot of these could be imported into other game engines. I've done a bunch of videos on how you can do that. I will link a couple down below as well. And this is the 30 for 30 mega bundle. It's basically 30 assets for 30 bucks and more or less boils down to if there is a single asset in here, you're getting 29 other assets for free. Organized into two tiers. You got a $20 tier and a $30 tier. They're both about the same size. I got a lot to go through, so let's just jump in and take a look. First at the $20 tier, and the first thing we have is particle image. This basically allows you to use particle effects in your UI layer. Next up, we have the 2D RPG monster pack. It is, again, a number of different RPG monsters here. This is a cheap asset, so generally it's normally only $5, but it is not animated either. So you're getting a ton of different assets, all basically 2D pixel art monsters. And then you're getting the fighter pack bundle. Now this one is substantially more money, so if you are, again, picking it up for 20 or 30 bucks, makes the rest of this just an absolute great deal. So this is 4 Mechanum animation packs in one pack. So you got a female fighter, male fighter, heavy fighter, and berserk fighter animations for a total of 252 animations here. So definitely if you're making a fighting game or need fighting style animations, a good pickup there. Next up, we've got the horror bundle sound effects. Of course, sound effects are literally just audio files, so you can use these in whatever engine you wish. By the way, the license does allow that. This one is a collection of 96. No, it is, 1,000 plus, I believe it said? Yeah, 1,000 plus new and exclusive sound effects, 8 audio libraries in total. Things like common horror sounds, real doors, ghosts and zombies, gore, haunted house, kitchen, the scariest place in the house, monster sounds, and horror music. Next up, we have mirrors and reflections for VR. Obviously, a way of implementing mirrors and reflections in VR. Now, that's a weird name because it actually works for non-VR projects as well. But if you need to implement mirrors or reflections, could be a good pickup for you. It built for the ERP. So it's not an HDRP plugin if you're using HDRP, by the way. And then we get the wireframe shader effect. This one is pretty self-explanatory. It is for creating a wireframe shader. This is actually something you do more often than you'd think. It also works with all of the pipelines, which is definitely nice. So if you want to give that whole wireframe look, you can do that using this shader. Next up, we have geometry algorithms. Now, the interesting thing about this one is this is one of the few assets that was actually in a previous bundle of some form. Not sure which one. It was whatever was on October 19th, 2022. So make sure that if this is the one that you're interested in, you don't already own it. It was either in a previous Humble or a mega bundle from Unity. So this one basically is a collection of algorithms that help you generate or improve complex geometries from any data set. So things for triangulation, Hull algorithms, Voronoi diagrams, extrusion algorithms, shredding, and so on. Kind of neat, to be honest. So if you're looking at working at a bit of more of an algorithmic level for your meshes, could be a good pickup there. Again, this was in a previous bundle, and this bundle is actually really cool in that regard. There's not a lot of repeats or things I already own. I'm going to put out all the things that were in previous bundles as I run into them. Then we get medical equipment, and this is a hospital I never want to go to because you kind of got the what is this, like the Scorpion or the Lin Kuei Cyber Ninja conversion process. But yeah, this is a whole bunch of futuristic sci-fi medical type things here. 44 unique meshes, mainly made LEDs, rigs, animations, colliders, and so on. Next up, we have magic slashes effects, a number of different particle effects, or slash effects, I guess not technically particle. Works with HDRP and lightweight render pipeline supported. I assume they mean ERP here, but that's nice to see. Then we get the 3D Sci-Fi Base Volume 1. Again, it's modular base for the sci-fi type setting. Again, idea of the kind of stuff that is included in this pack right here. Straight content packs are always rather nice, especially if you're working in the genre that pack provides. Then we get the Pixel Heroes Editor. Now, the weird thing is I swore I already own this, but I think there's a few assets out there like this one, so maybe it's just my memory getting foggy at this point, because apparently I do not already own it. So this is the Pixel Hero Editor. It allows you to basically create pixel art using like a mix and match of body styles, a number of different unified sprite sheets in here to power it. So yeah, you can create a number of different pixel characters using this setup and then roll them out in your game. Next up, we have Toon Dinosaurs. This is a collection of dinosaurs that are toony, and I gotta admit, they're cute as hell. So if you, again, this one is gonna be awfully niche unless you're creating a dinosaur game, but there's a number of different dinosaurs here. There's 6 different dinosaurs. This is for the built-in pipeline. Of course, there are conversion tools available now, so that's one of those things that is nice. So even if it is built in, you should be able to get it into the other pipelines with fairly minimal amount of work. Next up, we have the TPS Shooter Military Style Game Framework. So this is the most friendly, user-friendly third-person shooter kit in the asset store. Works out of the box, no additional setup required. So mobile desktop friendly. It does camera state machines, UI framework, you run, crouch, and so on. Scoping, all that stuff. So if you need to have like the kind of stuff that you do in a third-person shooter, that one is all about it. And then we get the ultimate screenshotting tool. So if you need to add screenshotting to your game, works seemingly with all versions, all pipelines. So a powerful tool to capture, edit, and share all your screenshots to showcase your game and make marketing easy. So yeah, I guess it's enabling you to actually do the screenshots for yourself directly in the engine. I'm not 100% certain on this one. I'd have to look at it in a little bit more detail. And then we get stylized carts, which is a collection of carts that are stylized. The name does kind of say it all. So there's 6 variations of carts, 2 meshes, 3 materials each. So there are 4K textures on them, and they have an idle and racing animation set. So if you're looking for a set of carts for your game, that's what this one is all about. And then we get the PBR fighter packs. This should synergize nice with the Mecanum fighting animations we had earlier on. So this pack, 15 different fighting characters. Like you can see, all of them here. They're actually pretty high quality, especially for a $25 pack. I'm actually kind of shocked at how good they look. So a number of different characters available there. Do not have animations, but as I said earlier on, you could probably use the other animation pack for fighting and make it work. Poly counts are in the reasonable range, 5K polys, 11,000 tries, seems quite reasonable. And then we're getting into the $30 tier. So everything you just saw, you could get that for just $20. For another $10, you're going to get the following, say, dozen assets. And they include the Polygon Nature Low Poly 3D Art Pack. So I love Cinti's work. It's, again, if you've got Cinti stuff you want to add to your collection, again, this is cheaper than the entire bundle. So you get everything else for free at this point in time. And again, one more reminder, you can easily get this stuff working in other game engines. I've done a number of guides, and there's actually some really cool tools for exporting from Unity to Godot that make this super simple, by the way. So check those videos out, linked down below. We get I2 or L2 localization. So most complete localization system available for Unity. So if you're supporting multiple different platforms, you can work with this guy right here. Next up, we have the Atlas Terrain Editor. This one actually is one of the more interesting assets here. Let me know if you're interested in like more hands-on coverage of something that you've seen, by the way. This one is a tool for creating trains, obviously. Not trains, terrains. Compatible with all the 3 major pipeline. Ton of functionality here. One of the cool things, you can generate stamps from your other favorite tool. So if you're using World Builder or something like that, you can create the stamp that you just paste into the world. Though it does come with a number of them. It's got 58 pre-made stamps that you can just kind of drop into the world. You can blend them between the world around you. You can build road networks using the spline tool, etc. Really kind of a cool tool for creating terrain. And if you're interested in learning more about Atlas, do let me know in the comments down below. Maybe I can do a hands-on video with it. Then we get these super realistic diamond shaders. This one actually looks best in video form, so you get an idea of, how sparkly these diamonds are. But if you need to add diamonds to your game, that's exactly what the shader is all about. Next up, we have Damage Numbers Pro. This is a cheap asset that does one particular thing, damage numbers. So if you want to have your character spew damage numbers from the top of their head, like it's the way that games are done these days, that is exactly what this guy is all about. Works in all 3 of the major pipelines. Then we get the Bad Word Filter Pro. So if you want people in your game to not be able to say beep and beep and maybe the beep, then, well, Bad Word Filter Pro could be a good pickup for you. Obviously, that's what it's all about. It filters out swear words and bad sentences. So if you need to have some, editing in your community, maybe you got a younger audience, or maybe you just don't want your community to be toxic, could be a good pickup there. You can also get rid of things like excessive capitalization and excessive punctuation, which is definitely a nice thing. We got third-person locomotion template. Again, it's a third-person character controller. Works with all 3 major pipelines. A number of different features here. Already includes the melee combat and shooter assets, by the way. So you're getting, this rig has basic features, functionality built in, advanced third-person camera control, sprint, jump, crouch roll, vault, climb, step up, and so on. Then we've got the Grid Builder. This is another one that I actually think looks really cool. It's for creating grid-style games. You can have things pop up within a grid. You can have things for selecting things in a grid, drag and drop placement in a grid. You got multiple different methods there. So again, if you're creating a game like chess, this does all of the grid logic for you. Or if you got a strategy game, RTS-style game, and so on. So it is built in only, at least marked as. But anything you working with a grid, you can work there. So things like real-time strategy game, tower defense, etc. And also you've got placement logic here, like drag and drop, drag, build, and place one. Kind of a useful asset if you're making a grid-style game. And then we've got the ultimate low-poly mining, cave, and blacksmith tooling pack. Ores, gems, props, and tools. So straight content pack. It makes sense. It's close enough to the Cinti style. I think you could mix it in with Cinti. There is a ton in this pack, so you get an idea of all the various different things that are available there. So this has contains 2,597 mining, cave, and blacksmithing assets, 52 particle effects, and a large demo scene. So if you're making a mining style game with that kind of stylized low poly 3D look, definitely a huge asset in that regard. Then we get the tropical forest pack. So this contains 20 ground cover prefabs, 11 props, 2 photo scanned rocks, 15 modeled trees, and 8 2K ground textures. Yeah. So definitely a straightforward asset there if you need to have, vegetation and foliage in your world. Could be a good pickup. This is another one that we got from a previous bundle. This one is the Endless Book. It's actually really kind of cool. So in August 30th, 2022, again, only like 3 or 4 total repeats in this entire bundle for me. But check to see that you don't already own it if this is one you're interested in. It's animated books. It's quite cool. You want to add books into your world. Books with like real logic, page controller, flips between them. So if you want to have like your Skyrim lore dumps in there, this controls going between the pages of a book, the contents of the book, the navigation of the book, and all that stuff. Very kind of cool. You can even have like script markup inside of your book, which seems pretty cool. So yeah, that's Endless Book. Next up, we have the Lost Temple. Now this is a straight content pack. You see like here for creating this level environment. It is marked as all 3 pipelines compatible, which is nice again. And then we've got another repeat here. This one is the Advanced Foliage Pack, just to make my life hell. So groups of foliage, grass, flowers, roots, trunk models, ground textures, assets were scanned and carefully optimized. These things are always useful to add to your repertoire, especially if you're not on Unreal Engine and don't have access to the Megascan stuff. Built in for all the various different pipelines that are out there and works with pretty much every version of Unity since 2019. So definitely a flexible asset pack and a ton of content in it. I don't know if they've actually got number breakdown here of what's actually in it. So yeah, okay, you'll find a ton of stuff here. So I'm not going to go through all of it, but as you can see here, there's a number of different assets in there. Then we get the Nodachi animation set. This one is obviously quite niche because Nodachis are not incredibly commonly used in most, say, Sudoku style games. But a Nodachi is a very large two-handed Japanese sword. And this is a set of animations for working with Nodachis. So again, a very niche product for sure, but 70 plus animations in there. You got all the makings of a fighting game here for sure. So you got the fighting animations, fighting characters, and then you've got sword animations in here as well. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the bundle. Once again, it's a pretty eclectic mix of stuff. Not a whole lot of repeats there, which is very, very nice. Reasonably priced. It's very good price, to be honest. So if there is a single asset in here that you want, generally it makes the entire thing else a freebie, more or less. So again, here, $20, $20 tier. So you buy this at full price, you would get all of the rest of this stuff for free. And then, of course, the best value tier is the $30 tier. But both tiers are quite legit. I think it's a pretty solid asset bundle. Again, the only repeats from previous bundles that we've seen here are Endless Book, the Advanced Foliage Pack, and there was, I think, one other. Yeah, the Geometry Algorithms pack here. Otherwise, all brand new to me, at least. So I say a quite solid bundle running for the next 2 weeks. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the 30 for 30 mega bundle. Once again, a couple reminders. If there's something you'd specifically like for me to do a follow-up video on, let me know in the comments down below, and I will do my best to do so. Also, if you are using another game engine, there will be a link down below specifically about getting from Unreal Engine out to, say, the Godot game engine. I think there might be one for doing it to Unreal as well. But if you're looking at, particularly picking these assets up for another engine, there are options. Look down below for links as well. So let me know what you think of this bundle, and I will talk to you all later. Goodbye.